Welcome to a brand new episode of the Tech Your Business podcast, where we show you how to use technology in different, unique, and obvious ways to grow your business to stay ahead of the competition. Today on the podcast, we'll be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is lead generation, and we'll talk about filling up your calendar, getting people who are interested in what you have to sell to talk to you at a very low budget. So today to talk about that with us will be James Donovan. So welcome to the show, James.
Thanks so much for having me, Peter. Looking forward to getting into it.
Thank you so much. So now LinkedIn is basically the most popular social platform for businesses. And it is most people don't have any success getting any business or anything from LinkedIn. So what is the biggest mistake you see people making? What do they do on LinkedIn that's wrong, but that they shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, bluntly, most people suck at messaging and they make it very I focused and not focused on the individual that they're reaching out to. So I'm sure you and everyone listening to this can think back to multiple messages they get probably every day where it's very obvious that it is hi first name. I see you work at company name. And then this is what we do, and it's a huge novel. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you do. They care what's in it for them. So the biggest differentiator on why people will be successful with messaging on LinkedIn is lead with the pain points that you know your audience has. Like you need to get into their head so that person's thinking, wow, this individual knows exactly the struggles I have right now with my business. If you're just telling them everything you do, they're not going to care. You're going to sound just like every single person who messages them.
And I think I get a lot of those messages on LinkedIn, on my email. These
Yeah.
days, I just scan them for less than a second and I'm out because I can't be bothered. And one thing I've noticed is most of the time the cookie cutter messages, if you respond, I did an experiment a couple of months back where I decided to respond to everybody, and you realize most of the messages that were done in bulk, most people don't you don't have that back and forth because you respond, and because they sent a lot of messages, they don't even follow up or anything. So you said leading with the pain points, and leading with the pain points means you need to know what those pain points are. So how would you say a business owner trying to improve their messaging to focus more on the customers gets to, like you said, in your words, get into the customer's head? What's a process? What's a way they can use to do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So something that we think about for our outbound messaging and then what we also provide for our clients who are fractional CFOs and tax planners. One, what when we're on sales calls to bring on clients for our marketing agency, what are the pains that other accounting firms have? They struggle to get leads themselves. They rely on referrals. They don't have as much confidence to sell higher ticket services, so they continue to revert back to some of the lower ticket offers. That's not everyone, but a lot of people. Our clients, when they get clients, a lot of business owners, they don't have an accountant who's proactively reaching out to them, providing them with new tax planning strategies. They don't have somebody who's ensuring they have, a proper cash flow analysis. So our outbound message, when we do it for our clients to another prospect is, hey, when was the last time your CPA proactively reached out and provided you with a tax plan?
Mm.
So now we have two avenues to go. Either they're going to say, I don't have a CPA. Okay, cool. Now we should definitely have a conversation. Or, well, they haven't done that in a long time. Okay. Would you be opposed to seeing if getting a second set of eyes to seeing if, your existing CPA may be missing something? And it's a very soft ask that way. But the biggest thing is just think about when your customers come to you, what are the reasons they're coming to you for to have that stuff solved? And then reverse engineer that and ask those questions to new prospects.
Hmm. So basically, like you said at the beginning, just leave the I and go over to the you, focus more
Yeah.
on the customer than than on yourself. So, can you share a quick success story of probably maybe a client you've worked with that had wrong messaging and improve the messaging and see what results they had?
Yeah, we have a client who provides tax planning services for other accounting firms who are not doing that. So, CPA reaching out to another CPA firm. One of our clients is trying this for a while with other companies, trying it on their own, never had a lot of success. We started working with them about a year and a half ago and have helped them bring on a handful of new alliances or new partnerships because the messaging we're leading with is able to, one, break the barrier to that other CPA where they don't feel like there's a sales pitch coming, but they also see the potential value of, okay, somebody else can provide a ton of services to my existing book of business. I'm still going to get paid on the front end. The vendor who I'm going to work with is getting paid, and our clients are getting more value out of this relationship, but I don't have to lift a finger. So, I think I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, um, but I know they've had a significant change and growth to their business just from that approach because we're able to get in front of more firms that they can partner up with now. And again, the original firm is still working with the client. That end client is getting all the value, but they don't have to lift a finger because our client is behind the scenes essentially providing all of those services. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it does. It does. So now, I think we've just touched on the surface, the topic we are talking about. So would you like to just tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got to this point, focusing on lead
Yeah, for
generation?
sure.
Yeah.
So I've had this business for just over 5 years now. Prior to doing this, I was in the digital marketing advertising space. Funny enough, I was actually selling ads on adult sites for a year and a half. And then I was let go from my job. But when I was let go, prior to being let go, I was really starting to see how much money there is to be made online with affiliate marketing, the opportunities to work with people around the world while doing it remotely. So honestly, it was a blessing in disguise being let go. At the time, it was a huge hit to my ego. And it's never nice getting let go from a job. But I truly think it was the best thing that ever could have happened because it helped motivate me to think what's the next steps. I saw an ad on Facebook about starting a marketing company and how easy it is. You get 5 clients, 2K a month, you're making 10 grand. It's not that easy. There's overhead, there's all the other headaches, you're losing clients. It was, sold to be a very easy venture, but we've come a long way since then. But yeah, now we work with a lot of accounting firms, fractional CFOs, tax planners, providing them lead generation. We set up their sales calls for them, so some BDR, and we're also now assisting them with their sales process and their operations. So we have a mastermind incorporated into our program for them.
I think that's so sorts out their needs from different angles, having their sales calls, you have the mastermind, you have the leads, you have everything. So I think that's interesting. So now back to LinkedIn. For a lot of business owners, they are overwhelmed by the different features, by the different possibilities, by different angles they can approach lead generation from on LinkedIn. So, for a business owner who might be overwhelmed, can you just give us a simple explanation? I know you've talked about messaging, but a simple explanation of how, starting from how a lead is generated on LinkedIn, how it happens.
Yeah, so we have essentially a four-step process where the first piece is setting up your profile to showcase yourself as an authority figure and a leader in your space. Without doing that, it's going to be an uphill battle. So having a solid cover photo, have your phone number, your email. What is a call to action? Letting people know who you are, the problem you solve, and who you solve it for, and so that people can easily get in touch with you. That's the most important step. After that, setting up the correct targeting through Sales Navigator. So getting in front of your owners, founders, presidents. What's the company size you want to get in front of? Who do you actually want to get in front of as far as businesses? Where are they located? Filter down to who's my target audience. So you're maximizing the amount of outreach you have on LinkedIn. From there, it's writing compelling messaging. You want to get people accepting your connection, so they're a part of your network now, and you can nurture them on the back end with newsletters and articles and content. Because the nice thing is once someone accepts your connection, they're in there forever unless they decide to unfollow you. Ads, as soon as you turn them off, there's no ripple effect. LinkedIn, you can send out messages and connections, and people are going to see that in their inbox. It's just a matter of time before they accept it. And then, like we were speaking about, having messaging that is actually going to push on their pain point. So you essentially want to be the doctor that pushes on the bruise and really make them feel that pain. So it's them deciding, hey, yeah, this makes sense to speak versus you seeking their approval to try to set up the appointment. If you're leading with the pain that you know your prospect has, it's going to be a much easier conversion to get them onto the phone so that you can further dive deeper into what their pains are and provide them with a solution.
Okay, so you set up a compelling profile, set up correct targeting through Sales Navigator and work on your messaging. So now you mentioned Sales Navigator, and I've had a couple of conversations on LinkedIn, and there are two schools of thought. Some people say Sales Navigator is important. Some people say it's not necessary. So I know you mentioned it. So I know you would say it's important, but so why is it important? Why would you say it's important too?
Sales Navigator gives you the opportunity to message anybody on the platform without being connected to them. That to me is huge. You don't have to rely on slowly growing a network. For $100 a month, you can reach out to any individual who's on the platform. So you're paying to play. The other reason is you get to see the other profiles who are also paying to play, which
Hmm.
right away tells you they're serious about growing their business enough that they're going to invest in their profile. So even just focusing on those individuals, there's a significantly higher likelihood they're going to respond to your message because they're on the platform more frequently than a user who has a free profile.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so I think being able to message, because I know there's a lot of messaging limits on LinkedIn. And like you said, having the messaging, doing the connection request, and having people accept your connection request, at least you have them, like you said, for life till they accept, they decide to unfollow you. So now you may messaging people who you're not connected to takes a bit of time. And time is something a lot of business owners struggle with, don't have enough of. So, looking at this, your process, how much time would you say a business owner should realistically dedicate each day, each week to see results? And apart from that, too, are there any ways to make the entire process less time consuming?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say bare bones to do it the most cost effective way, allocate 30 to 40 minutes a day going down your list from Sales Navigator and messaging premium users only. So your in-mail message, one, you're going to get a notification inside of LinkedIn to that individual. Two, LinkedIn is going to personally email them. So you have two notifications for the price of one. So you
Mm,
have your subject line, you have your body. 30 minutes a day of sending in-mails, you are going to get meetings. You're going to get in front of enough people on a weekly basis. The next day, you respond back to those who got back to you and you send a couple new messages. So 30 minutes a day, bare bones. I mean, ultimately, it depends on the results you're looking for. You spend more time, you're going to get more results. Naturally, the more people you message. The other piece to that would be using some of the automation tools that are out there, setting up your sequence so that you are dripping out connection requests, you are dripping out in-mail messages. And then same thing, jump back in the morning, either yourself or have a team member, a VA somewhere, go through and manage your inbox. Look for those positive responses, look for the negative responses, and the ones that are in the middle. All of the negative ones, no thanks, not interested, just discard them right away. Who cares? They're a part of your network now. They're going to see everything you post. So that's the nice ripple effect. Focus on the people who have said yes. Focus on the people that they're right in the middle, and you're going to try to convert them to a yes. Once you get the yes, then once you have the intent, that's when I would be sending over a calendar link, asking for a phone number and giving them a call to set up that appointment.
Okay, so 30 to 40 minutes a day is actually manageable for
Yeah. It's not
almost
as
everybody.
it's not as time consuming as people make it out to be. It's boring, but it's the boring result. It's the boring tasks that get the results.
True. So now, you mentioned going through your Sales Navigator list and messaging only premium users. So there's another thing people have. I think I've used Sales Navigator for a while, and I agree with people who have that observation that it's very complicated. Trying to get everything together, trying to um configure all the parameters and everything. So it brings out only your ideal clients. So what's a way you would say you can use it easily to find your ideal clients using all the filters and everything on there?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people probably struggle with who is their ideal client to begin with. And a lot of people think they can sell to everyone. And if you're trying to sell to everyone, you're really selling to nobody. So if you don't know who your ideal client is, start thinking about who is not your ideal client and kind of work backwards. One of the tools that we like to use within Sales Navigator is current company. And
Mm,
we're not searching for specific companies, but we're searching for keywords of company names. So if we're reaching out to accounting firms inside of the current company field, we're going to be typing in accounting,
mm,
tax, CFO, um, CPA. We're not clicking on specific company names that pop up. We're using those keywords because those are going to show up in someone's profile. We like to use company headcount and years in current position and years in business. It's not an exact figure on what their annual revenue is, but if you know your ideal client has, 1 to 10 employees or, 11 to 50, and they've been in
mhm,
business 5+ years, very likely they have the budget to work with you, assuming on what your service costs, but they're established enough that they've been around. They didn't just pop up last night, and they're probably not going out of business in a week. Um, what else we like to use? There's a tab for how active somebody's been. So you can toggle on active within the last 30 days. That is a huge one because, again, you only have so much allotted outreach on LinkedIn. So you really want to try to maximize who it is you're getting in front of. And if you can reach out to people who've been active in the last 30 days or posted in the last 30 days, naturally they're on LinkedIn more than somebody who has not done that. So if you start reaching out to people who've posted in the last 30 days and have a premium profile, you're going to have a significantly higher response rate because the people you're reaching out to are on the platform.
mm. I think those are actually really good tips. People who have been active, companies with a bit of time and a bit of employees, a couple of employees. I think you should be able to get something good out of that list. Then the tip you gave to about the accounting firms on the company name. So I think we'll go back to a something you mentioned earlier, which was when sending the connection requests to the prospects or the people on the Sales Navigator. There's another argument people usually have. Some people say you send a blank connection request. Some people say you send it with a message. And from what you explained, I believe you go with sending with a message.
Yep.
Okay. So now what's a good message or what's a good approach to writing a message that would actually get a response? I know you mentioned focus leading with the pain point. So is it still that?
Yeah, it all comes down to testing and how direct do you want to be? Are you just trying to get a bunch of people added into your network and then pitch them after, or do you want to let them know on the front end, like, hey, this is a business outreach? So we've done a lot of connecting in the past where, hey, first name, would love to connect and network. It's pretty open, it's pretty vague. Would love to connect. Obviously, in network, that could mean a number of things. We've also run with that pain point message right away. Hey,
Mm.
Bob, when was the last time your CPA proactively reached out to you? What that's going to do, if they want to accept that connection, they already know, hey, we're gonna be making an ask. We're gonna have an offer. Also, they're very likely to look at our profile and see, okay, our client helps out with tax planning, or our client does X, Y, and Z for law firms. So that connection message that tells them what to expect paired with the profile, you're not going to get as much friction on that next message when you actually ask to set up a meeting or you make that next ask to dig into the pain point. So it really just depends on your strategy. I think too many people get bogged down with the number of leads they're getting versus the quality of leads. I would much rather have a lower count but high quality. And a way to do that is just be very transparent on the front end with that connection message. Put the pain point in there right away and essentially why you're reaching out. We've even gone as far, Peter, in outbound messages on LinkedIn saying, hey, this is what we do. We charge X. Let me know if you want to have a conversation. And it works. I mean, not everyone is going to say yes. A lot of people still say no. I don't care
Yeah.
what the people say no. I want to focus on the people that are saying yes. Let's have a conversation. So ultimately, the biggest objection you're getting in most sales calls is the price.
Mhm.
So we're addressing that right away before they can.
Mm. Interesting. So I think so your suggestion is that you should test different angles, test putting in the price, test just sending a vague message, test leading with the pain point and see what works for your specific
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, it's not I don't have an exact answer to give you. It's not an exact science. Things are always changing.
Yeah,
You're still dealing with humans, so just test different messaging. Test what's going to work for you and what your personality is, right?
true. Okay, so you mentioned using automation tools earlier to reduce the time spent on LinkedIn prospecting. So can you maybe break down a simple automation process that can help for this? Then also let us know what parts, because I know a lot of time people have issues with LinkedIn cracking down on different tools. So what parts of the LinkedIn outreach process should be automated? What parts shouldn't be automated?
Yeah, it's a great question. So when doing anything that is automated on LinkedIn, especially when it comes to your connections, your messages, you don't want to go crazy with the amount you're sending out right away. If you have any experience setting up cold email, it's very similar to that. You want to warm up what your account is doing, especially if you've gone from doing nothing to all of a sudden you're trying to send out, 200, 300 connections in a week. It's not going to work. So just slowly build that up. Start by automating 30 connections within a week, and then that follow-up sequence. Also, having organic activity on your account. So you're publishing articles, you're commenting on other people's posts, you're making your own posts. Um, that is going to help the algorithm and tell LinkedIn it's not just a bot that is only sending out connections. So there's LinkedIn doesn't publish all of these things for obvious reasons, but just through trial and error and us testing and using this strategy for a handful of years, it's a lot of the data that we've come back with and know that helps with these campaigns that we run.
Hmm, okay. So now, I think one other thing too I'll talk about um, on this topic, there are people who believe in, okay, there's the inbound and there's the outbound lead generation process. So now you're talking about the outbound, reaching out to people that you feel are your ideal clients and setting up calls and co with them. Then there are other people who believe in creating content, relevant content, and all that, and having people reach out to them through their content. So, what are your thoughts on these two schools of thought for LinkedIn?
You need an audience to reach out to for your content to be important. You could have the best content in the world, but if it's not landing in front of the right eyes and ears, you're not going to get any results. So if you're consistently reaching out to your ideal clients, your ideal audience on LinkedIn, you're growing that network and you pair that with content, it's a really powerful strategy. Because now, even if people are saying no, but they've accepted your connection, your stuff is showing up in their news feed for free. It's only a matter of time before those no's start to turn into yeses because you're nurturing them. It could be for years over LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it's a longer term play, but you can't have content without the right audience.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you mentioned nurturing the clients, and I think that brings me to another question because with sales, with marketing, we realize that most people don't buy immediately. A lot of people are at the point where they meet you. They might need your service, but not at that particular point, maybe in a year or whenever. So how would you say you should, a business owner should maintain relationships with maybe someone they've connected with on LinkedIn who is an ideal client, but isn't ready to buy immediately?
Yeah. Just provide a ton of value. Provide so much value for free that the individual who's seeing it is going to go, wow, if this is how much stuff they're giving away for free, what does their paid stuff look like? That that's not me reinventing the wheel. Alex Hormozy's been speaking about this for years. Um, on LinkedIn, a really powerful way to do this is set up your newsletter. A newsletter on LinkedIn is very similar to the in-mail messages. People are going to start subscribing to your newsletter. Every time you publish a new article, which falls under your newsletter, LinkedIn sends everyone a notification, and LinkedIn also emails everyone who's been subscribed to that newsletter. So again, you get two notifications for the price of one. You don't have to worry about the email deliverability. And that message that you want to get across is now getting directly at the top of somebody's inbox.
Mm.
So you can do that monthly, you could do it bi-weekly, you could do it weekly. Um, what we like to do at the bottom of all of our newsletters, so that it's all value at the top. What are the most common questions we're getting on sales calls during the week? What are our clients asking us during the week? What are, other questions that our audience has about what we do or about what they're trying to accomplish? That's what we create topics on. And then at the very bottom of the article, we have a excuse me, we have a break in the page, and that's where we can include a call to action, different social media links. If we want to promote our school community, our podcast, whatever it is. So that's kind of just like your footer that you're going to have on all of your articles, which also helps with your SEO.
Amazing. Amazing. So now for a business owner who is starting on LinkedIn, they have maybe they just fresh account, zero followers, nothing. They're just starting today. What are the first three steps, or how would you say that they should get started to start benefiting from LinkedIn?
Yeah. Start connecting with friends and family. Get people who you know are going to accept those connections, people who are nearby you that LinkedIn is suggesting as new connections. They want to see that you actually know the individuals, the people that you're reaching out to are accepting those connections. If you jump in, I know for a while you couldn't do it. I don't know if brand new connections or brand new accounts can get Sales Navigator right away. You might have to have a couple connections prior. That may have
No.
changed as of late. But basically, you want to be able to tell LinkedIn, I actually know people who are like, I'm reaching out to someone and they're accepting my connection. It shows there's authenticity there. So
Yeah.
as soon as you create your account, profile picture, cover photo, I would start publishing articles, making your profile relevant right away so it's full. But yeah, connect with friends and family and people that are being suggested to you because they're there for a reason in the algorithm. But make sure the people you're reaching out to will actually accept your connection. And then you're going to get more bandwidth and ability to reach out to people who you don't know if they're going to accept it. But if you just start reaching out to people right away who they don't accept it, LinkedIn's going to look at this and be like, who is this individual? Everyone they reach out to is not connecting. They clearly don't know these people.
Interesting. So now, I think we've talked about a lot today. So we've talked about generating leads on LinkedIn, building your accounts just with 30 to 40 minutes a day and maybe $100 or so on Sales Navigator, which is affordable for almost everybody. So for this, for the listeners who have listened so far, Is there anything that you would like to leave with them? Any advice, anything else that, or maybe any question I haven't asked over the last few minutes, or you feel would be important to anyone listening to this episode?
I would just tell everyone to not be afraid, start reaching out to people, take the no's, disregard the no's, and look at the types of responses you're getting and test new messaging. If you truly believe in the service you're providing, you want to let other people know about it because you know you can help them. If you're not doing that, you are doing a disservice to your audience. And the best way to get in front of everyone is to reach out to them on a daily basis. Maximize how many of the right people can you get in front of on a daily basis.
Hmm.
Naturally, you're going to have more sales calls and your business is going to grow. People cannot buy
Amazing.
your stuff if they don't know what you do.
Yeah. Perfect. So now for listeners who have listened so far for the last few minutes and they are not satisfied with this conversation, they want to continue this conversation with you, they want to learn more about lead generation from you, or probably they want to work with you on building their business on LinkedIn, what's the best way for them to reach you?
I would be crazy if I didn't say to contact me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn would be the best spot. Or feel free to send me an email, james@92media.com, NINETWO. But yeah, LinkedIn would be the easiest spot. We'd love to connect. We're posting a ton of value there as well. I'm sure people hopefully are getting a lot from just being connected based off what we're putting and what we spoke about today. But yeah, I would say that's the easiest spot.
Okay. So LinkedIn and 92media.com. So those will be on the screen for those watching on video and in the show notes for those on audio. So you can connect with James, you can continue this conversation and make your LinkedIn account work for your business. So thank you so much, James, for coming on the Tech Your Business podcast today.
Appreciate it, Peter. Thanks so much. This is awesome.
Thank you. And for the listeners, I hope you learned something today because I've learned a lot about building on LinkedIn, lead generation on LinkedIn, and everything else. So if you've learned anything and you know someone who's struggling with LinkedIn, send this episode to them. Till next week when we come with a brand new episode. Don't forget, like James said, reach out to people, sell. As far as you believe in your business, if you don't reach out to people, you're doing a disservice to them, like you said. So till next week, keep taking your business and bye for now.